Hello everyone, today we're going to be working on a different style of photo composite. This one's a little bit easier than the one that we did earlier because all you're going to be doing is select mask with a couple of little tweaks here and there, nothing too crazy, but you are going to be learning a couple of different things that are fairly new. So the first thing that I want to do is I'm going to close out all of these so y'all can see what I'm going to do here. Close, close, no, and then I'm going to save this one, file, save, save to Creative Cloud, and I'll call this photo composite, composite 2, and save. There it is, perfect. Now I have these pictures that we are going to be using in here. Let me go ahead and open those up for you all so y'all can see these. Right, so these pictures are provided for you all. And all we're going to do is grab all these 4 pictures and drag them in here. Boom, that's it. It'll open all 4 pictures. And now all we need to do is select and mask each one of these pictures. So for this one, grab our selection tool, select subject. It's going to do a pretty good job right off the bat. One of the things to keep in mind as it's selecting this image is the angle. If you all decide to take your own pictures like I did, you want to make sure that when you take the pictures, they're selected at the appropriate angle so that, they're taken at the appropriate angle so that both pictures or all the pictures that you're going to be using, they kind of match up. Next is going to be select the mask, and that's going to mask out the image. Do the same thing. We'll do the moose at the very end because that one is going to be slightly different. Select subject. And we'll wait for that to kind of finish up. There it goes. Subject is selected. And then press the mask tool. That does a pretty good job. And then this one, we don't need to select anything. And then the moose. So for the moose, when you click select subject, it's not going to do a perfect job. And that is where you guys have to know how to tweak it in case, it doesn't do a perfect job on the images that you all decide to use. So for me, I'm going to be using this guy, and you have your plus and your minus up here at the top. Right now with plus, it allows me to add more stuff. I can add the ear. Everything there looks good. I can add his feet. They're pretty good. Add more of this little anchor, not anchor, what are they called? I don't know, Alright, so it got most of them, but it also got a lot of stuff that I don't need. So I'm going to select over my negative one, and then just go in there and deselect all the negative stuff that I don't need. Now it's not going to be perfect, and we're going to adjust all those things later on. But for now, we want to do the easiest method or the easiest selection that we can. We want to make sure we subtract some of this, all of that down there. So let's subtract all of this right here. Then grab my plus, select that part again, this part again, select this part again. Grab my negative and deselect this part. And it's a pretty decent selection. Anything that's not perfect, we will fix by coming in here, select that. Now what I'm going to do is create a new layer. I'll bring that layer to the bottom. And I'm just going to change the colors here. I'm going to put maybe like a baby blue or something like that. This is going to allow me to see all the mistakes. So while selecting my mask, which is the black and white brush, I get to come to my brush, make sure that my flow is at 100%, my opacity is at 100%. I can right click and I can choose my hardness. I'm going to want my hardness about 90%, give or take. And then this one, the size, you're going to mess around with it. If you use your bracket keys on your keyboard, you can actually make it small or big, however you want. Control plus to zoom in, and then your space bar to move around using a black brush while selecting the black and white area, you can go in there and erase parts that you don't need. And you don't need to do that much, but you do have to fix all the little areas that are kind of messed up. Oops. That, and there you go. Right here, just make it really, really, really small. Erase these little areas. And then so on and so forth. Now, I don't want to take too long on this particular spot, but you guys kind of understand the GIFs, is that correct? GIFs? Y'all kind of get it. You need to make sure that you erase all these things. Now, if you accidentally, oops, I erased too much, just switch over to the white brush using your little arrows right here, and then you can bring back the area that you erased. You can also press X on your keyboard, and that is the shortcut. Just kind of fix it up, make sure that it looks good. Do this really quick. Right there, erase, 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 erase. All right, cool. And so we have a pretty decent selection. Now we can go ahead and work on our snail image. So right here, we're going to be doing some new stuff that you guys haven't covered yet, or at least not entirely. Number one, grab the lasso tool. Make a selection over the snail. Right click and put content aware fill. That's going to try to fill in the area as best as it can. So there you go. It's telling you I'm selecting things from all the areas in green. That's fine, but it's not perfect. But we'll click OK. And it does that. The new selection is created in a different layer. So we're going to select that layer, right click, and just put flatten the image because we want to make sure we don't have different layers. We want to keep it flat. And then Control D to deselect. And that's going to deselect. Now this one, it's a little bit tough. This is called the clone stamp tool. You can right click, make sure you have soft edges. About 150 is fine. When you click anywhere, it's not going to let you do anything because you first have to select a spot. Once you select the spot, you hold Alt on your keyboard. You select a spot that you want, like this, for example. And then once you select this little area, all you have to do is kind of come in here and color this way. And you have to do that probably multiple times to make sure that you can grab the area correctly. Oops, I messed up right there. And there you go. Now you have a good area. You hold Alt and select in the card, and you kind of come in here and get rid of this as well. We don't need that. And you just have to be careful for those lines. And then just kind of color in here. And there we go. We now have the area that's completely gotten rid of. We're going to select our book and bring our book over. Hold it, don't let go, then let go right here. Control T to make it small and Control minus to zoom out. Make that small. Control plus to get in here and be able to see. We're going to bring our book and place it right here. Then we're going to bring our person, which is me, drag, don't let go, bring it, don't let go, Control T, Control minus to zoom out. I hold Alt when I'm resizing, by the way, so that I can make it like zoom out, get small towards the center. Then I'm going to put myself somewhere there, that's perfect, right around that spot. Then we'll bring the moose, grab that moose, bring them here somewhere. Control T to resize, hold Alt, put the moose somewhere there, bam, and then, oops, and then zoom in. Now, you don't want to be able to see my legs, so all you have to do is grab the person, which is this one, grab the black area, black and white area, grab your brush, make sure your brush is set to around 90 or 100%, and all you want to do is kind of follow along to these little areas right here where the page would be, and just erase that. So it looks like we're like inside that book, right? That looks pretty good. So now we need to create our shadows, and we're going to create a layer underneath everything. So this is the layer underneath the book, and then the layer underneath the person. All right, we're going to name this book shadow, person shadow, just like so. Now for our brush here, we're going to right click and make sure that our brush is set to 0%, make that a little bit bigger. And our flow, we're going to put our flow down to like around 2%. So what our flow is doing is making sure that when you draw one line, you can't really see it. You have to go over it multiple times. Oops, I have this like baby blue color. It needs to be black. And we just kind of color in there until we start creating this like shadowy shape. And we want to make the shadow in this direction. We're just going to keep drawing and drawing like this. A little bit under the book. Right there. And so before and after. That's what we're doing right there. Now on the person shadow, we just kind of want to color inside that book a little bit. And then just do this. Then we can do one for the moose as well. For the moose, we can do a little small one, maybe pick up the flow a little bit and just kind of like do something like that. Kind of like right here, it'll be kind of big because this is his body. And then you have like his face. You can do a little bit of his little horns. Alright, and then now all you have to do is lower the opacity of this so it's kind of transparent. A little bit here as well. And a little bit here as well. Okay, cool. So now we have all this. One little final step right here, make a new layer. Add a black layer. Go to filters, render. We're going to render out a lens flare. You can choose whichever flare you want here. Play around with it. I'm choosing this one. I made the brightness a little bit bigger. Press OK. It's going to add the flare. And then I'm going to create a hue and saturation. This one is going to allow me to change the color of the flare. So I want a little bit of a bluish tint right here. And I'm going to right click and I'm going to merge down. That way it only merges this layer to my lens flare. So merge down. And now these layers have become one. And you guessed it, blending options, do stream, that adds that. Now I'm going to hide that for a second and I'm going to select my person. I'm going to go to filter and I'm going to go to neutral filters right here. It's going to pop open this thing. And this is new to Photoshop, by the way. So it's going to allow you to go ahead and change the color so that it matches your background. We're going to go to color transfer. And it's going to tell you, where's the landscape mix? Which one was it? Harmonize. Color transfer, creative transfer, color. Oh no, it's harmonize, my bad. So go to harmonize, turn that on. It's going to tell you to select the layer. You can select the background. It's going to make me a little bit more blue. There we go. So now you just want to change this so it's not as strong. Press OK. I believe that was the book. Yeah, that was the book. And now you want to select me, the person. I have no idea what's going on, to be honest. Where am I? Oh, that's the person. What is this? That's the book. So, okay. This is the person. All right, so select the person, go to filter, neutral filters. And then the same thing, you can go to harmonize, turn that on, select the layer, the background layer, and adjust this a little bit, wait for that to happen. It's going to turn me blue. There we go. That's too strong, so I'm going to lower it down a little bit. Something like that, pretty good. Press OK. And then the same thing to the moose, filter, neutral filter. Oh my god, control V. Select the moose, filter, neutral filter, and then do the same thing. The last thing we're going to do is just make sure we add the lens flare. Select the layer, which is going to be the background layer. It's kind of very blue. Let's lower it down a bit. Right there. Press OK. That's our image. Bring this guy back up. Lower it down a little bit. Oops. lower this guy down a little bit. And there we go. That is the final result. File saved as a JPEG, and you can turn it in. Hopefully you guys learned some quick ways so that you guys can do photo composite. If you have any questions, let me know. See you guys next time. Peace.